Iris, I'm going to ask you some questions. Please answer honestly. However, you do not have to say anything that might incriminate you.
The right to remain silent? You're treating me like a criminal.
Not exactly. I'm just looking for the truth, and I would appreciate your cooperation. I heard you used to work at Sunfish Pocket.
That's right.
How long?
A little over a year.
Working there that long, you're probably pretty familiar with the equipment.
Yeah, I guess.
What about the surveillance camera? Do you know where those tapes were stored?
What are you trying to say?
What were you doing from 7 to 9 last night?
I was at home the whole time.
You're sure?
Yes.
Iba, thermograph.
There is no noticeable rise in Iris's body temperature.
She isn't lying.
Not necessarily. We must consider the possibility that she is a natural liar.
With that kind of confidence, her temperature wouldn't change.
Correct.
Renju's estimated time of death was 8 p.m. last night. If Iris's story is true, she couldn't have done it.
There is another possibility. Even if Iris was at home, she could have killed Renju.
You mean... I'll ask again. You are sure you were at home around 8 p.m. yesterday?
Yes.
Can I ask your mother about your alibi?
You can, but there'd be no point.
Why is that?
My mom wasn't home. She came back home early this morning.
This morning?
Yeah.
Where was she?
I don't know.
You don't know. Come to think of it, Iris's mom had connections to Renju too.
Hitomi did mention that yesterday.
Renju was my classmate at Eitoku High. We've known each other for 20 years now.
However, we have nothing to link her to the case.
But I am curious. When did you find out Renju was killed?
This morning, on the news.
And you were with Renju last night? You didn't think to call the police and inform them of this?
Oh, sorry. Is that something you're supposed to do? I had a podcast to record this morning, so if I went to the police, I'd be late. And that would cause everyone a lot of trouble, you know?
Here's what Ota told me. Yesterday around 6:15 p.m., you and Renju came out of the Sunfish Pocket building. Is that true?
Yes? Mr. Okiura called me and told me he wanted me to come to Sunfish Pocket, ASAP.
Around what time was that?
5 p.m., I think. I got ready, then headed over there. I guess I got there about an hour later.
Date, I checked her call history. At 4:58 p.m., there is a record of a call to Iris from Renju's phone.
What were you doing with Renju?
He asked me about a job.
What kind of job?
He rented out Sunfish Pocket for a party and he wanted me to MC. He said that it was an important party and that a lot of big shots were gonna be there, but the girl he asked to do it originally got sick and couldn't come. But I turned him down.
Why?
Because I'm just an internet idol. I've never done any MCing before, especially with important people being there.
What did you do after you turned him down?
I left with Mr. Okiura at 6:15 p.m. That must have been when Ota saw me.
And after that?
I asked Mr. Okiura to take me home in his car. I got home at 7 p.m. I was home the rest of the night.
What do you think, Aiba?
I cannot detect any contradictions. However, her story appears almost too organized. Human memory is ambiguous. Her use of exact times leads me to be suspicious.
That's true.
Am I a suspect?
It's not like that.
It's fine, Date. It's true that I met with Mr. Okiura yesterday, but how do I put this? It's impossible that I'm the killer.
Why?
I'm a teenage girl. Mr. Okiura is a fully grown man.
Oh, she's got a point. A girl like her could have stabbed, poisoned, or shot him dead, but strangling?
No, it's still possible. You see,
The autopsy discovered a high this drug is. It is likely that
a heavy concentration of sedatives were discovered in Renju's body. Renju was practically in a coma before he died. He wouldn't have struggled.
So, Iris could have strangled him.
Wait a minute. Even if I was somehow able to kill him, the rest of it is impossible.
The rest of it?
Like hanging up his body?
How do you know that?
What do you mean? It's all over the news.
That's true. Renju weighed about 160 pounds. Even if she used her entire body weight, I don't think she could have hauled him up.
Right. It would be hard for her to do it with her strength alone. But with a little ingenuity, it could be done.
Ingenuity?
I don't think so, Date. This is irrelevant to the... Sunfish Pocket. According to the records, from 6:30 p.m. until the body was found, the elevator stopped on the second floor only once. At 8:50, the total weight detected in the elevator was approximately 310 pounds. Renju's corpse was discovered at the Maid Cafe, hanging from a beam on the ceiling by a wire. He was found over the counter. The wire was attached on both ends. One end was attached to a hook that was embedded inside Renju's jaw. The kegs hold approximately 20 liters of liquid. They weigh approximately 55 pounds each.
It went like this. First, Renju was laid out on the counter. Next, the wire was thrown over the beam and connected to the hook in his jaw. Then all you need to do is put the 3 beer kegs on the counter.
You think a teenage girl could have done that?
I'm sure it was hard. The kegs weighed 55 pounds each. And that's not impossible, even for a teenage girl.
I guess it isn't impossible.
After that, you get on top of the counter, hook the other end of the wires to the kegs, and then, what do you think happens if you kick the kegs off the counter?
The 3 kegs weighed 165 pounds altogether. Renju weighs 5 pounds less. I guess that would make it possible. But there is one more thing.
What?
Considering the state of the crime scene, it's clear Renju was killed elsewhere and brought to where we found him. If Iris is the culprit, how did she move the body?
Hey!
I know. You're going to say you couldn't have moved a 160-pound body.
Unfortunately for her, she could have.
How?
Renju's estimated numerous hemorrhages and the weapon used, the criminal likely wrapped it around Renju, then suffocated. The more precise cause of death is cerebral circulation. In short, Renju... The oil drum inside, the type that has a lid you can open, empty. It weighs approximately... The autopsy, however, no trace of this was found on the... This means that it is highly likely Renju was...
Do you know what this is? It's Renju's favorite watch. This was discovered inside an empty oil drum at Sunfish Pocket.
Hey, Date, I know you're on a roll right now, but could you please report things like that according to protocol?
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that it wouldn't be so hard to move a body if it were in a cylinder. You would just have to roll it.
So you're saying Renju's body was moved inside the drum, which is how the watch came off. But the suspect didn't notice it.
I'm not saying anything for sure. Just pointing out that it's possible.
I didn't do it! You don't even have any witnesses! If I were rolling an oil drum in the middle of the street, people would have noticed!
You could have put it in a car and driven it.
I don't have a license!
Doesn't mean you can't drive. Even an AI can drive nowadays.
Are you mocking me?
Don't make sudden outbursts like that.
You insulted me!
Just be quiet.
Who are you talking to?
Anyway, Iris, you weigh about 105 pounds, right?
Where is this coming from?
If only you weighed more. Or less.
That is none of your business.
No, I mean that your weight is relevant to the case. If the oil drum was used to transport the corpse, then the possibility of the suspect being around 105 pounds is extremely likely.
Why do you say that?
Iris, on which floor is Sunfish Pocket located?
On the second floor.
That's right. So, I checked the elevator records. Before the corpse was discovered, the elevator only stopped at the second floor once, at 8:55 p.m. And we discovered that the total cargo weight on the elevator was about 310 pounds. Renju weighed 160. The oil drum weighs 44. Together, that's about 205. Subtracting that from 310.
This doesn't look good.
Why are you...
Now, this obviously doesn't prove you're the murderer. A lot of people weigh 105 pounds. Or someone could have put 105 extra pounds in the elevator, sent it up, and taken the stairs to throw us off the trail. However...
Date, stop. Iris is acting strange. Don't turn around.
Why not?
Just stay put. Keep your eyes on the wall. There are several cameras in this room. 2 surveillance cameras installed at the corners of the ceiling, and 1 camera on a tripod. I hacked each to gain access to their recordings. Look at this.
She's fidgeting. Is she doing something under the desk?
That's what it looks like. But we need to confirm something before we confront her. We need to know that she's in fact doing something under the desk.
Without turning around?
Yes.
How would I do that? Ah, shit! Iris, what are you thinking? What is that thing? Hey! Answer me, Iris!
She's definitely hiding something, Date. Sync with her.
Is experiencing REM sleep. Medication is working perfectly.
How about it, Date? Think you can do it?
Not a problem. Get it started.
The time limit is 6 minutes. So before time is up,
I know.
then let's begin.
is this place?
It looks depressing. How is this related to Iris?
Unknown, but there must be a connection.
Iris, what are you hiding?
Somnium scan! Activate! A double... It doesn't open. We don't have to worry about... A CRT...
Stop!
What is this video?
It is difficult to believe, but these are the faces of the victims of the original Cyclops killer.
What? What is going on here? Iris, what are you hiding?
We should continue. There are more objects to inspect now. A revolver.
Is it real?
It appears that way. It is a pistol.
Why would this be here?
What's this? The trigger. There is a stick in the hole of the trigger guard.
That's suspicious.
5 minutes left, Date.
A revolver. Weekly Shonen?
Don't say it!
I did the best I could. I am not a cyborg, and thus I cannot reach that height. This is not my fault.
Nobody's blaming you.
A full-body mirror. Can you talk?
Can you talk?
What? Don't copy me.
What? Don't copy me.
Pervert. Date is a pervert.
Pervert! Date is a pervert!
Why do I have to get called a pervert? And twice?
A full body. Are you sure I can break?
No, I don't think you have the strength to break it.
Then why did you ask me?
Just punch it and... You see? It won't break.
What was the point?
4 minutes.
A torso?
If it has a head, is it still called a torso?
What would you call it?
Even my consciousness is being affected.
While I was unconscious, the room changed.
I'm tired of this. But we have no choice but to investigate.
Three minutes, Date.
A drug bottle. There is no label. I cannot determine what is inside.
It's probably dangerous.
I agree. We should not touch it if we do not know. Even in Somnium, some things should not be done. A drug bottle that holds... An opera... The fabric on this... It appears to be in use despite its age.
They did surgery here?
Surgery or... An old That video showed the face of a victim of the original Cyclops killer. It appeared to be the second victim.
What is Iris has something to do with the first Cyclops case?
Unknown. I do not have enough information.
Guess that means we have to investigate more.
Indeed. The oil drum, shelf, and another torso have been added.
Let's go.
You have less than 2 minutes, Date. Hurry.
A torsos. You have bad taste.
Just do it, please. I see.
Do you wish to
No, we're done.
A common...
If you can't, then
It is meant to be...
I think so.
You have 1 minute left.
Only a shelf. That shelf sticking...
What?
A metal ball must have fallen off the
Why would anyone put that there? Date, we're...
Damn! What the hell?
Three minutes, Date.
An old... That video showed the face of a victim of the original Cyclops killer. It appeared to be unknown, indeed. Only a shell. That shelf stick... An eye... Where should I...
Throw it that way.
Understood. It is unexpectedly light. All right. Yeah!
I feel like that ball hit me in the head.
Now, a TV and an old book have appeared.
I hope this is the last time.
You have less than 2 minutes, Date. Hurry.
It is a thick book. It has not been well preserved.
Can you tell what kind of book it is?
It is probably a book on... insects! It's a book on insects!
Don't get excited. I know how you love bugs. Does this book belong to Harvey?
I didn't know she liked insects! And to read the book so often that it wears out!
Well, we can't prove it's Iris's.
True. We cannot conclude anything. An old...
was the third victim of the original Cyclops killer.
Why does Iris know that?
There is a possibility that she saw it online or on TV.
She even reproduced the circumstances of the killing. Would her imagination explain that?
Date, we have no direct evidence. For now, we must continue investigating.
Right.
You have 1 minute
A
left.
double... It doesn't open. A double door?
Hi-ya! Hi-ya!
Stop that! You're not helping! Just a locker.
Aiba?
It's all right. More importantly... That is...
What happened in that somnium?
We saw it too.
The 4 murdered women are without a doubt the victims of the original Cyclops serial killings.
That means...
The murders that occurred 6 years ago are these memory fragments that coalesced in this somnium.
No. That means the person who killed them was... Help me understand this. What I saw during the sink earlier, that was the scene of the original Cyclops serial killings, right?
Yeah.
So the person doing the killing was the original Cyclops killer.
Right.
Did you see him? He was...
I saw your face. The original Cyclops killer was...
It can't be. That's impossible.
Date, you cannot say that for certain. You have no memories past 6 years ago.
So perhaps, Mr. Date, you are the killer. You're missing your left eye, so you steal them from others.
I'm kidding. You can't be the Cyclops killer.
Really?
Of course not. Do you think I would hire a serial killer? You interrogated Iris before the sync. What you saw in the Somnium was just a manifestation of the fear you put in her. You can't dream of something you know nothing about.
That means Iris must know about the killings.
6 years ago, Iris was 12.
Did she witness the crime at age 12? And not just one, but all 4? The Cyclops killer appeared 6 years ago. I lost my memory 6 years ago. There has to be some kind of connection.
There isn't. It's a coincidence.
Really?
Really. Didn't I tell you? The entire case is a state secret. No matter how many times you ask, I won't tell you anything.
I don't believe there's any meaningful connection. Between the original and new Cyclops serial killings, I mean.
Why is that?
The culprit is not the same. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
How can you be so sure?
Because I can. Don't worry about it. Just trust me. The Sinker does not always experience the somnium they expect. Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones. When using the sync machine for an investigation, we don't always see the memories we expect to see. True, oftentimes a subject will subconsciously want to express their dark secrets and repressed memories. That is why we see them so often in Somnia. And why those Somnia are so useful for criminal investigations. But this is not a guarantee. We cannot control the content of our dreams, after all.
In the Somnium earlier, I saw someone else who might be the criminal. Who was he?
I wouldn't know. It's like I told you before. Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed. This can be expressed as an equation. Dream D equals memory A plus memory B plus memory C. This, of course, means that Dream D is a fictional event. However, the same cannot necessarily be said about memory A, B, and C. Those happened in reality. In other words, fiction is built from combinations of reality.
So what I saw in Somnium earlier...
Yes, I believe Iris actually witnessed those events.
Pewter, you said that memories happened in reality, right? But what about false memories? How do we know if the memory really happened?
Even false memories are built from the pieces of real ones. If you disassemble those pieces, you will find real events.
What about things you see in movies or television?
The events might be fictional, but the experience is not. Our imaginations are limited to what we have seen. We cannot invent something whole cloth. Dante, it looks like Iris is about to wake up.
Got it. Hey, Iris. About that dream earlier.
Dream? What dream?
There is no point in asking her, Date. The subject of a sink does not experience somnium in the way that you do. They will not remember it.
And what about the Cyclops killer from 6 years ago?
Cyclops killer? I remember hearing it on the news. But I was just a little girl. I don't remember anything specific.
You don't?
No.
What about the scene of the murder?
I don't know. I've never been there.
But
dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
You can't dream of something you know nothing about. Date, could you take Iris home?
Huh?
We do not have enough evidence to hold her. Even in Somnium, we couldn't find anything. The law demands that we release her.
You cannot decline, Date.
Date, could we make a stop first?
Sure. Where?
Marble. It's a bar in Golden Yokocho.
You know about that place?
Yeah, Mr. Okiura took me before.
Why do you want to go there?
There's something I want to talk about.
We can't talk here?
It might take a while.
What do you think?
There's no reason to refuse. Besides, there's a lot I want to ask her, too. All right, sure.
Tessa!
Oh, Ota!
No, this is my new one. You're thinking of the one I dropped in that puddle. Oh, she left a little while ago. She said something about going to help an acquaintance. She told me to watch the place until she got back.
How well do you know Mama?
Not at all. It's my first time here. I was nihiling with Tessa earlier. She said she was going to Marble, so I got here just before you did. Look, I was really worried about her. She was about to be charged with a serious crime.
This actually works out nicely. I want to ask you something, Ota. It's about a Nile message you sent Iris. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that thing. That you'd stay quiet no matter what. What were you talking about?
Well,
I'll tell her about the two-witter thing. I swear I'll do it.
Geez, fine. Just don't tell anyone else, okay? But before I tell you, who's that?
What?
At the door. Someone's standing outside.
Where am I?
It looks like you're awake now. Ota, the boy I asked to watch the bar?
I'd say he's too old to be called a boy, but yeah.
He was already gone when I came back. All I saw was you getting your beauty sleep on the floor.
Damn it, Ota. What are you thinking?
It appears that he took off with Iris.
What were you doing during all this?
My power was shut down due to the stun gun. I have rebooted in safe mode and am now operational.
It'll be 3 o'clock soon. In the morning, of course. I tried. You wouldn't budge. I thought you were passed out drunk, so I left you like that.
But I didn't have a glass in front of me, right?
So you weren't drunk?
Didn't have a single drop.
Oh, I thought you were drinking straight out of the bottle. Just like the old days.
Date, the boss.
Oh, how am I gonna report this one?
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency. Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video. I sent the address to Aiba.
Iris! No, that's...
The criminal is streaming this live.
Aiba, the source.
Identified. The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Okiura?
Date, focus. We need to get to the site, now.
What's our ETA?
Our destination is far from here. 20 minutes at the fastest.
Please, please let me make it in time. bastard!
Tessa! Hold on! I'll save you!
Ota!
Stay away from Tessa! Ah!
No, it can't be. No. Stop!
There you are. Finally. I was looking all over for you. It's rare to see you down like this, but it's understandable. You blame yourself for this, don't you? Beating yourself up about taking Iris to Marble, and about letting Ota get the upper hand on you. Am I right? Shall I tell you what Investigation HQ thinks? Ota Matsushita is a criminal stalker who committed murder-suicide. Ota had a selfish love for Iris. He was under the delusion that Iris loved him too. But Iris refused Ota. So Ota decided that he and Iris should be together in the afterlife, killed her, then killed himself.
That's ridiculous. Ota would never kill Iris. And how do you explain the other two murders? Iris's left eye was hollowed out. Just like Renju and Shoko. Those three murders were definitely executed by the same person. The new Cyclops killer. There's no way that's Ota. Too many pieces don't fit. Too many contradictions, like killing Iris.
Such as?
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota showed himself on the stream. If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit. Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person. That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first. After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
So he lies down on the workbench and turns on the ice-cutting machine himself? I don't buy it.
Maybe he was thinking like this. The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it. Making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
Mizuki is Ota's close friend. Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
Shoko was married to Renju. Maybe he was trying to get at Renju by killing her.
That's a stretch. They've been divorced for years. Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
There are some additional discrepancies. I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
Are you sure?
I am.
Oh, I know that.
Well?
Ota could have stabbed himself. Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice-cutting machine.
Then, shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
Well, I wasn't being serious. I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning. I was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
Anyway, Ota didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume. He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side. He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice-cutting machine. And then...
Then, who is the culprit?
I wish I knew.
We're up to 4 victims. But Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically targeted by the culprit.
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims. Shoko, Renju, and Iris. What connects these 3?
Connections.
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
Maybe, maybe not. That is a good starting point.
Mizuki has the strongest connections with all 3 victims. Shoko and Renju were her parents, and she was close friends with Iris. She was good friends with Ota, too. But that's why I could never believe Mizuki would kill all 4 of them. Thinking of her as a suspect is ridiculous. Renju and Shoko were connected to the Kumakuras. But there's no connection to Iris. Renju, Shoko, and So. There is a connection between Renju and Shoko through the Kumakuras. But again, I can't see any clear link to Iris. I know Renju and Shoko, and I'm connected to Iris, but I have an alibi. Aside from Shoko, there's no way I could have killed any of them. No. Now that I think about it, Shoko too. I don't remember killing her. My memories from 6 years ago are missing, but I still have my memory of recent events. And if I start doubting myself now...
Date, I can say without a doubt that there is 0 possibility you are the new Cyclops killer. I have been working with you for years. I know better than anyone that you are innocent.
Hitomi and Renju are definitely linked. They were high school classmates, and she did say that she met Shoko twice, but I can't imagine she would kill Iris in such a gruesome way. No matter what the circumstances were, it seems impossible to me. Mayumi had motive for killing Iris and Renju. Mayumi hated Iris, and she didn't think well of Lemniscate either. And since Renju is the president... Anyway, the weak point is Renju's ex-wife, Shoko. I can't imagine why Mayumi would kill her. And above all else, she would never harm her only son, let alone kill him. I thought it over, but of the people I know, I can't peg any of them as the murderer.
And no leads to pursue?
No.
Then there's only one thing you can do. Continue your investigation. Do whatever it takes to get the culprit, to get justice for the victims.
You're right. Got it, boss.
No. I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered. This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time. a video camera, and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them. I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it. I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras. The same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious. There are only a few items on the shelf.
Is this warehouse not in use? Right here. Iris and Ota.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound, or...?
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown. Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
All right.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little...
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
All right. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes. Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer. Although, it's more accurate to say, killers.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras. They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball. He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life. That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again. "18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye. She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss. That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice.
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
And one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. That means one remains. Who is he?
After his 4th murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu Prison.
Fuchu Prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89?
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars. Neither of them had the opportunity.